All right. So this day I'm going to take a Jordan River Day. We are going to look at Deuteronomy 31, chapter 31 today. We're going to be looking specifically at verses 1 through 8. If you have your Bible, Deuteronomy is really hard to find. That was a joke, by the way. Verses kind of So Deuteronomy 31. And in this section, we see that Moses is a very old man. He's 120 years old, birthday actually. And God speaks to him that he's going to depart in this world, he's going to die. And before he dies, he's directed to go to Joshua. Joshua, actually, his name is derived from Hoshea, which means deliverer. And then he's called Joshua. Then Moshe or Moses would call him Yehoshua, which means the Lord our deliverer. And it's interesting because Yehoshua becomes Yeshua, which is deliverer or savior. So with Joshua then is told to lead the children of Israel across the Jordan River to the promised land. Yeshua leads us to the promised land. So it's interesting when we study the books of the Bible, the Old Testament, that we see that shadow of what's coming. We see Joshua actually being a shadow of what Yeshua will deliver. All right. So here we begin. Then Moses went out and spoke these words to all Israel. I'm now 120 years old, and I'm no longer able to lead you. The Lord has said to me, you shall not cross the Jordan. The Lord your God himself will cross over ahead of you. He will destroy these nations before you, and you will take possession of their land. Joshua also will cross over ahead of you, as the Lord said. And the Lord will do to them what he did to Sihon and Og, the kings of the Amorites, whom he destroyed along with their land. The Lord will deliver them to you, and you must do to them all that I have commanded you. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or terrified because of them. For the Lord your God goes with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. Then Moses summoned Joshua and said to him, in the presence of all Israel, be strong and courageous, for you must go to this people into the land that the Lord swore to their ancestors to give them, and you must divide it among them as their inheritance. The Lord himself goes before you, and he will be with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. And they proceed to read to them the law that they are to read, study, and to carry with them as they go into the promise. Now Moses is also realizing at this point that the Israelites tend to be a very rebellious people. And based on their past experiences in the desert, there were a lot of rebukes, I think, for their actions. And so he gently is telling Joshua in not a rebuking way, but a very gentle but yet strict way that this is going to be happening when it gets there. That to keep the law. Now the law is interesting in this passage too. We see that Moses, because of the law, was not able to go into the promised land because of his pride. The Lord told him to speak to the rock, and it says, speak to the rock, and the angel of the rebellious of the Israelites struck the rock. And for that sin, for not obeying God, he was prevented from going in. But the lesson learned from that is that it is not by our work, not by our good keeping of the law that we get into our promised land. It's by mercy and grace and our faith in Jesus Christ that takes us to the promised land. And so it's very interesting in this reading, if you really dig deep and over in this one chapter. Why? Because when the Lord goes before us, how can we fail? Why should we be afraid? Why should we be, why should we have any trepidations at all? We have to get past ourselves as people and how we think. Because he's bigger than we are. He knows everything. He knows the end from the beginning. And he goes before us. So in all of your troubles and all of your strife and all of your sicknesses or poverty or whatever the situation is, know that God, when we give it to him, he wants to go before us. And then we follow. We let him lead us, and then we do our part. Follow. That's what teaching for today. So whatever your situation is, this is what we'd like to pray for at this time. To let God take charge of that situation, and for us to step into a point of faith where we just accept what he's doing. None of us have miraculous power to heal. It's just God works through people always. He works through Moshe. He works through Joshua. Works through all the people as he works through us. Another interesting thing too, I learned too. A lot of times the funerals will be read that in my father's house there's many bands. He's going to be going to the funeral. He might be tomorrow. But we always think of that as like a bunch of mansions by this glassy sea, like opulent penthouses. Like that. That's how we kind of picture it. But actually, that really means that we have these places of habitation where we can be put in a position to keep doing God's will, to keep working for him. We enjoy to do that because he's created the desire in our hearts to do good things. Those habitations then will be where we will be doing them in that. So I thought that was very interesting that I see about habitations. Let's start with prayer then.